Hi everyone, this is the week 7 presentation. So we have made it to week 7. I hope wherever you are, whether it's in California or back home, that you are dealing with the heat and managing to stay a little bit cool. Let's have a look to see what is happening this week. Well, we have paper 2 draft 1, which is due in. I gave you feedback on draft 0. I hope you've all looked at that feedback and you will incorporate it into draft 1. We're on to quiz 7, which is verb forms and modals. Very important. Verb forms are a really big part of being able to write accurately. So I hope that you really try to fix any verb form problems you have this week. We're going to move on to another article. This is the third article that we have done for this paper, and it's called Winning the Persuasion Game. It's from The Guardian. Our theme this week is paragraph development. So how to develop good paragraphs, and I'll also give you some information on a conference call. We're all going to conference in week 7 and 8. It's going to be slightly different to the last ones, and I'll tell you more about that later. Okay, so paper 2 pre-draft. This is what you did last week. This one was a little bit different. It was, imagine you are trying to change your best friend's mind about something. What is the best way to do this? So again, starts it off on a personal level with the theme of convincing people about something, trying to change their mind or change their behavior in some way. Now, most of you played it pretty safe, so you said, I'd be nice. Or you might say, well, I'd be confident. I'd say something to them with confidence. These are a little bit vague. What I'd like you to do for the draft 1 is to try to move from very general techniques like being nice to them or being confident to something more specific and really specific. For example, say you're talking about being nice. Being nice very often is listening to somebody. So, what are the advantages of listening? What can we get from other people if we listen to them? Think of the opposite. Well, if we're nice, then we're not being kind of scary and intimidating. Why does that not work? Why, if somebody tries to scare us about something, why do we generally not listen to them? Think about that side of it. And if we are confident, what makes us confident? Confidence doesn't just come from nowhere. Some people it does, but anyway, it usually comes from experience, from practice, from having knowledge about something. Okay, so just saying be nice and be confident is not really enough. We have to get more specific through these drafts. Okay? Right, well, the paper 2 question for draft 1 and draft 2 and the final draft is a little bit different. It's very similar, but it's a little bit different. So an individual can have an impact on others, but convincing people to change their behavior is not necessarily easy. Okay, behavior is set, it's difficult to change. How do we persuade others to make more sustainable choices? So in draft 0 you could discuss anything, but I'd like you to focus on things that might be behavior that's more sustainable in paper 2. Okay, so we're going to focus on these sustainable behaviors and how do we convince people to change to them. Okay, so that's the paper 2 question. Let's look at draft 1. What am I looking for? Well, really important are your thesis. I'd like you to have a good thesis, and also evidence. Okay, so as we know, we looked at this guy. His name was Ramon, and he works in UCI. And the way he changes people's mind is through modeling and through education. Okay, so he wants people to cycle, make more sustainable commuting choices, so he cycles himself. He models the behavior he wants others to do, and he sets up workshops to educate them. Okay, so there are 2 ways that you could use in your thesis statement. Let's look at other things. This was the video. This again was Mr. Sanjayan from UCLA, and he said, well, it's not really enough to just model or educate. What we have to do is we have to change our message to suit the listener. Okay, we have to adapt. We have to know our listener first before we can start to change their mind. And again, there was examples of, very right-wing conservatives, the Pope, kind of immigrant communities, things like that. Okay, and in the article we looked at last week, this got even more focused. Okay, it was on goals and incentives. If we want to change people's behavior, we have to know what their goals are. So it's not enough to say, oh, protect the planet. Okay, your goal or your incentive is to protect the planet because the planet is our only home. That's probably not going to work. It might work for some people, but it won't work for everybody. So instead, the last week's article about the psychology of turning people green wanted us to get away from these abstract notions and more towards, well, if we cycle, we'll save money. Okay, because we won't have to spend a lot of money on gas. Or if we cycle, we'll be really healthy and fit. Okay? Or it might even be that if you take the train, if you take more, sustainable options when commuting to work, like the train, you'll have more time to read if a person's goal is, to pass a test or something like that. So whatever our goals are, whether it's, to be healthy, to know a lot, or to save money, behavior can be linked to these, and we're more inclined to change our behavior if they are. Okay? So that's what we've looked at so far. Okay, we've looked at the video, we've looked at the modeling and education, and we've looked at ways to incentivize. Now we're going to look at the new article, or the first paragraph of the new article, which is winning the persuasion game. Okay, so here I'll read it out. Okay, so I'll do a little annotation and you guys can finish the annotation later on. So if we're going to cut the impact of our lifestyles, again, lifestyles are behavior, habits, things we do every day. That's what I'd like you to focus on. Okay, so I'd like you to cut down the impact of our lifestyles to a size the planet can manage. Well, this is basically another word for sustainability or making something sustainable. Many of the things we do every day will have to change. Okay, so we've looked at how our behavior now is not sustainable. We will have to change it. And that's no secret. It's clear, it's obvious, nearly everybody knows this. The problem is changing the behavior. The good news is that we have a host of technologies and strategies available here and now to help us do just that. So the possibilities are there. The bad news is we don't use them. Okay, why don't we do it, and how can we convince people to do it? That's really what we're looking at. So how can we change our behavior on anything like the sort of scale required? The article gives a number of different ways that we can do this, that we can help to change people's behavior to be more sustainable, and goes on to give 5 or 6 key points. The first one that's talked about is money. Okay, giving incentives for changing to more energy efficient light bulbs. The next is this person, Hermione Taylor. She cycled over 2,000 miles, okay, to try and inspire people to act more sustainably. There's also Toyota made a fun app that you can use to try to be more efficient with the gas you use. And there's also an advertising campaign in Shanghai that surprises people, okay, and gets their attention. So the article will discuss these various ways that we can try to change people's behavior that are effective. Okay, what you have to do is to use these examples and quotes in your paper. Okay, So the conference call that we're going to do is going to be at one of these times. Now you can see it's going to be a different type of conference call. It's not going to be one-to-one. There might be 3, 4, 5, 6 of you on any one conference call. So a little bit more like a class. I'm kind of experimenting with this. I'm not quite sure how it will work, but I want to try it out. Okay? The times for the conference call are Friday, the 11th of August, 6 p.m. I'll send you a link that you just click on to join the call. Monday, the 14th of August at 1 p.m. Again, all of these are in California time. Monday, the 14th of August at 9 p.m. I've tried to make them okay for both California time and maybe the time in China, Korea as well. Okay, let's move out of this and let's go towards what we have this week. So, again, language development points. Now is a good time to do that writing center appointment. Okay, might think about doing that. We have cultural events, vocabulary practice. All of those are available. And again, you get language development points for attending the conference. Okay, if you want to sign up for the conference, just click here and put your name in. Okay. Just write your name here, whatever conference you want to sign up for, and I'll send you a link. Okay, let's go back. We have a brainstorming chart, so I'd like everybody to try to help each other out, okay, by doing this brainstorming chart. So I have put the various sources that we're going to use at the side here. So there's Peddling Sustainability, that article, the Vox video, The Psychology of Turning People Green, and Winning the Persuasion Game. That's this week's. And I'd like you to try to complete this chart. Okay, you will get points for doing it. I know when somebody has written on it. Okay. So, what technique is being used to change people's minds? What's the example? And then a quote maybe to help you. Okay, try and complete it as best you can. What else do we have? Paper 2 Draft 1 is due in, so please upload that. We have a short discussion on this Shanghai pedestrian crossing, a successful advertising campaign that was used to raise awareness about sustainability. Paragraph development, you'll obviously have to look at this presentation, and then I'd like you to do this exercise. In the exercise itself, on paragraph development, I've given you a quote and a topic sentence, and you have to fully develop the paragraph. Okay? Use at least 100 words. Okay, moving back. Verb form and modals, very important. Please do these 2 practice quizzes. Writing clearly has some grammar rules if you want to look over them. And there's some work on winning the persuasion game as well. These are all different verbs. Okay, for verb form, so what follows make, the base form follows make. What follows encourage, infinitive follows encourage. It's good to know these. We also have a little bit of work on conditionals. I would like you to click on this conditional. I think it's about a year old. There might be some slightly out of date information in there, but generally it's going to be pretty good. And I would like you to do conditionals practice. Conditionals are great ways of developing paragraphs. Okay, and again, I'd like you to annotate the reading that we're doing. Okay, so lots of work to do this week. Try and keep on top of things. Try and keep up with it. Again, a good draft 1 is going to take away a lot of the work that you have to do in future. It'll make your life much easier later on. So good luck with that. And don't forget the conferences. I will be in touch about the conferences later this week and also next week. Okay, have a great week. Stay cool. And again, if you have any questions or problems, just let me know. Take care.